Hello and welcome to Man Cave Mechanic. My name is Troy Bry, and today I'm going to show you 3 ways to check whether you have a paint problem with your Volvo Penta fuel pump. Let's get at it. Okay, the 3 things that you can check on your Volvo Penta fuel pump assembly to see if you have a paint problem with it are checking the fuel pressure regulator, checking the fuel filter seat, and checking the high pressure pump screen. The tools that you're going to need are a fuel pressure tester, a flathead screwdriver, a number 20 Torx, or a Phillips head screwdriver depending on if you're checking a OEM or an aftermarket, and a fuel filter wrench. The first thing you want to do is make sure your ignition is off or battery switch is off, and disconnect your negative post on your battery. The proper procedure for bleeding off the pressure on your system is finding your high pressure Schrader valve, which is up here on your fuel rail next to your fuel pressure regulator. There's a cap on there. Remove that. Now when you screw this on, there's a good chance that this will probably bleed off just by screwing that on. So I have a rag underneath there. Screw it on tight. And it shows pressure on your gauge. Just take this button here, this bleeds it off. Alright, let's tuck that out of the way. The next thing you want to do is check your fuel pressure regulator screen. We're going to remove the bleed off. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver and remove this clamp that's holding it in there. Just pry that up. Pops right out of there. Remove the fuel pressure regulator. Now there's a screen on here. You can see here they'll have black specks or maybe even paint chips on that screen. You can try just spraying it off with carb cleaner. That may fix your issue for a little bit, but it's definitely an indicator that paint has gotten through your system and into your fuel rail. Alright, put that back on, replace the clamp and the bleeder holes. The next thing you want to check is your fuel filter seat. Now this is a fuel pump assembly here. You're just going to take off your fuel filter and you're going to check, see if there's any paint debris on top of the rubber gasket, or look underneath and see if there's any paint anywhere peeling on this where the gasket seat is or inside here. Your low pressure pump draws through here, and if it draws any paint chips up into here, it'll plug that screen and not be able to fill your fuel cell, which is what your high pressure draws off of. Alright, let's do that. You're going to want to lay a towel down here or a sheet to catch any fuel that spills. You're going to unscrew the fuel filter towards the fuel nipple assembly, towards the fuel line. Okay. You're going to check the fuel filter seat to see if there's any paint on there. There's no paint on this one. Now, and I realize that there's a lot of room here. I could tuck my head under there and take a look, but probably the easiest way is to take your phone, take a picture. Everybody's got a cell phone these days. Take a picture up there and see if you can see any paint peeling. Even take your finger and rub it around up there and see if any paint comes off. Okay? If you have paint there, that's what's plugging your low pressure pump from drawing from your fuel tank. To put your filter back on, you screw it to just where it touches the fuel filter seat, and you're going to tighten it 3/4 of a turn. You don't want to go any more than that, because if you do, you risk bunching up your gasket on your fuel filter, and you won't be able to prime your pump if you do that. Last thing you can check is the high pressure screen. You remove the screw for the clamp. It's just one screw and a clamp holding that high pressure pump in there. Take the clamp off. And what you're going to do, here we're removing the screw, removing the clamp, and then right here at the bottom of the fuel pump, at the lower assembly, you can take a screwdriver and put that right in there and pry that up. Pop that right out of there. Okay? Now, inside here there's a screen. If you've got paint peeling inside this fuel cell, the paint's going to come off here and it's going to be drawn up through the lower assembly to this screen, which, if it occludes that screen, you're going to start hearing this pump whining and struggling. Alright, so let's do that on the motor. So we got that here. It's still, you can still leave it attached to the hoses. Just get right underneath here, stick that underneath there and pry that up. Okay? Flip it over and check inside there. Now you can bring like a little pail in here and spray it off with some carb cleaner, put it back in and give it a shot. But if you've got paint chips in there, you're going to draw them up again, and it's only going to be a short-term fix. You're going to want to get that cleaned out or replaced. Put that back in, replace your clamp. Make sure that's tightened down. Alright. Last thing you're going to want to do is prime your pump. Turn your key on. Do that let it cycle about 5 to 10 times. That'll prime your pump and you'll be all set to go again. And there you have it. 3 ways to check to see if your Volvo Penta fuel pump assembly has a paint problem. If you'd like to learn more about my service, I'll leave my information below. If you'd like to learn how to disassemble and reassemble the Volvo fuel pump assembly, click up here. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, click down here. Leave a like and comment. My name is Troy Bry with Man Cave Mechanic. Have a great day.